Welcome to the Science of Reading Made Simple. My goal is to help parents and teachers at school to understand and apply the science of reading so that its concepts are accessible and easy to implement for your students. What are the key questions in this section? 1. If children learn to speak naturally, why do they have to be taught how to read? Why can't students pick up reading the same way that they pick up speech? Why is the English writing system called a code? Why do students have to decipher or crack the writing system's code? What must students learn in order to crack the code? Those are the questions we're going to seek to answer in the next episodes. Let's begin. Reading is communication. When we talk about reading, we are talking about communication. Someone writes his thoughts down or her thoughts, and we read those thoughts to understand what the person is attempting to communicate. But reading and writing are not the primary means of communication, nor have they ever been. What has always been humanity's primary means of communication? Think about that for a second. How have humans always communicated? It's not been by writing and not by reading. Yes, you guessed correctly. Speech. Speech has always been the primary means of communication. From the beginning of time, people have spoken to each other. Speech has always existed, but writing and reading are recent inventions. Writing systems are only about 8,000 years old. They are a recent invention, which, of course, led to the need for reading. If I write something down, then there must be a way for someone to understand what I'm writing. Therefore, the invention of writing led to the creation of reading. And here I have a picture, an image of a clay tablet that was created by the Sumerian civilization around 8000 BC. And this contains markings or carvings or symbols on clay. And these symbols represent speech elements in their language. So here's the summary. Humans have always spoken, but writing and reading are recent inventions. Around 8000 BCE, the Sumerians began encoding spoken words into written form. Egyptian civilization also began recording speech in writing. Later, the Phoenicians, Greeks, and Romans would create alphabetic writing systems by matching speech sounds directly to symbols. The English alphabet consists of symbols that represent 44 speech sounds. Think of that. There are only 44 sounds that we use to make all the words that we can speak. 44 sounds. That's it. Isn't that amazing? Later on, you'll see we'll call these sounds phonemes. But the invention of writing led to reading, which is the process of taking printed symbols and translating them back into the sounds, words, and ideas that they represent. So writing is really taking speech sounds which are invisible and making them visible. Reading is taking those sounds that you've now made visible through symbols or drawings and turning them back into the sounds they represent. This is what happens in an alphabetic language, where we use what we call alphabetical symbols to represent speech sounds. But it also happens in any language that uses symbols to represent sounds. So this is the greatest invention in history, I would argue, the creation of an alphabet, where all the sounds in a language could be represented by just a few symbols.